Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to have a special guest with us today on our Women.Tech digital platform. Today, we have with us Dr. SVS Bala. She has over 50 years of experience in the medical field and about 20 years of experience in radiation oncology. With her extended experience in the medical field across different subfields such as dermatology and oncology, she will share her journey, how she navigated through her professional career, and she will give some very useful insights into how you could pursue a career similar to her. So I'm very happy to welcome Dr. S.V.S. Bala. Hello, madam.
Yeah. Hello.
So, how do you feel today, and how?
And I'm thankful to you. Just I will be some help for my juniors or some women who are want to get a good career and success in that career. So I hope I'll be little helpful for them.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure by the end of the interview that all our viewers will benefit from the experience of Madam S.V.S. Bala. Yeah. So, before we start, I would like you to go back probably 60 years ago or when you were a kid. What inspired you to get into MBBS or medical field? Yeah.
Actually, my auntie was working in the hospital and I used to go with her as a kid to get treatment or just like that for roaming whenever I'm having vacation or other thing. And there I saw the respect given by the patient to the doctors, and I am very much inspired about that. So I want to be a doctor in those days. But my father actually was very reluctant to make me a doctor because he was only a chef in hotel. So our family is not well flourished, and he was afraid of the expenses that can incur in the medical field. Only that reason. But I was little bit adamant, and I got the seat. In 1973, I have joined first year of my MBBS, and we were having nearly 6 years of medical field, that is course. Okay, in those days it was very lively with my eminent professors who were guiding us in all aspects in reading or doing some procedures, even with the IV line, how to get the IV line also. It was very difficult when we start. So we learned so many things and other things also. And at that time, I want to be a magician, and as well as, or sometimes if I feel I will get a dermatology because of my professors where how they were teaching us. So I got very much interested in dermatology and physician, and I finished my MBBS career in 1980. After that I joined the government service, and I was working in PHCs. PHC means primary health centers. After that, I was working. In those days, PHC are very remote place, village. So I was having the occasion to meet the villagers, especially poor categories, and I come across so many problems where what they were expecting or what they were incurring during that, because it is very far off. They were having so much difficulty to reach the hospitals. And so, the primary health center where I was working, I was doing my level best to help the patient. But I want to come to the town. So, in those days, so I write the exam for that. I got the dermatology after 10 years of my joining the government field. So I got done only on 1990 in dermatology. With my experience, I got 1 year exemption. So I finished my dermatology in 1 year. After that, again, I was posted in leprosy rehabilitation home because I was a dermatologist. So I was working there, and there also na, I was facing so many leprosy patients, how they were rejected by the society and other things. After that, with after that in 2000, I got my oncology post for studying. So it is 20 years after that. To be frank, the oncology has chosen me. I didn't choose oncology because I got the seat only in that setting because I couldn't get further for dermatology. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyhow, my professors were very much guiding me and encouraging me in those age because I joined very late in oncology because continuously doing the course they will be joining very earlier, but me after 20 years of my experience, so I was having very much difficulty for the I was facing to read, also to read, concentrate in my studies because I was doing after 20 years. But with hard work and with my professors encouragement and my colleagues, they were encouraging, so we were doing combined study or discussion in among them. So I also come across that hurdle, and I was able to complete my oncology course in 2020 2003.
And to, in spite of knowing it's going to be difficult to make the move, uh, what
No,
was your motivation to pursue that field?
no. But when, see, before I joined radiation oncology, actually speaking, I was not having any idea about radiation and the procedures what they were doing. Only I know about, I am going to study about cancer. Only that much was my experience when I joined. But after joining there, I was examining the patients and how they are going through the pain and the very pathetic situation of the patients. So I thought I have to do some help to these patients before they going first, or I can alleviate some pain for them. So that was my motivation. Only the patients were my motivation because I want to do some help as a palliation. Because to be frank and very sorry to say this, our patients are coming very late only.
Mm,
When they are presenting, we are not getting in early stage. So once they get the pain only, they are coming. So it is very difficult to alleviate the pain at that time. So we will be doing whatever help we can do, we were doing and other things. So that was my motivation,
uh,
patient.
as for example, someone who, from a non-medical field, right? Uh, like for me, like, we are scared of doctors. It's the usual thing, okay? Like something like a cancer, right? Like you said, people are coming late. Do you think, what measures do you think that as a patient, or as someone person can take preventive measures before, uh, uh, early on in their life, in order to prevent, these uh,
Yeah. Actually, na, I am very
late
much
infections?
interested in preventable medicine because helping the patient before they come to us to identify the patient earlier, it will be very helpful, and their quality of life will be better if you detect cancer in early stage. But at the same time, telling so many things to the public, we should not make them as cancerophobic.
Okay.
That is also there. So
Yeah.
actually, I was where I was working, we were conducting so many camps in the village side, and routinely we were examining the patient as a routine. And in those time, if we are getting diagnosed, it was very good because we were able to diagnose very early. Otherwise, there are few marks which we can help them to identify anything apart from the normal leading of your life, anything abnormal. And suppose even cough, if you are not getting restricted with your regular medicine, you can have an x-ray or some imaging so that you know whether it is anything abnormal, like that. And
Okay.
anything which is, that's what I'm telling. See, routinely, suppose if you are having any change in your bowel habits continuously for a long time, see 4 years, 5 years, or even months, then you are supposed to go to a doctor and investigate it or check the yourself, so that you can really, suppose if you are having. But most of the people now, they afraid, as you were telling, afraid to come to the doctor because they are afraid, if something is there, the doctor will reveal us, how can we tolerate that?
Yeah.
So that was the fear the public is having. But I don't know how to overcome this fear, but they should themselves overcome that and come to the doctor, provided if they are having the same problem very often.
Yeah.
Suppose if you are having 1 or 2 days, it's okay. It is not necessary to come and examine or getting examined yourself or doing imaging, not like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
same complaint repeatedly you are getting for a longer time, I think it will be a better chance for them to get examined.
And we'll now come to the field of oncology. Like when you said your motivation was,
Yeah,
I mean, amazing motivation to have that. Very few I mean, few doctors. I wish that there are more doctors like you who think about their patients, and they're like, okay, we are pursuing the field because we want to reveal our patients from all the pain that they have. Um, and about the oncology part, as we know, there are many fields, subfields, right?
yeah.
Why did you specifically choose radiation oncology? You know?
Because radiation oncology is the important modality. You can treat the patient without any pain.
Okay. Mm.
That means, suppose if you are having surgery, you have to face the fear of surgery and you have to suffer the post surgical pain or other thing. But it is routine. It is, I'm not exaggerating, it is the routine. At the same time, when you are going for medical, where we are giving chemotherapy, chemotherapeutic drugs are very much toxic. So they will be having side effects and other things. But
Mm.
when you compare these two, radiation, while we are treating, the patient will not have any pain.
Mm.
But they may have some side reactions which are very tolerable for them with the medicine. But it is not the same thing why I pursued radiation oncology. But it is, I feel it is a better field. And you can treat even in later to palliate the symptoms, you can give radiation like that. Even
Mm.
in the last stage, it is done.
Very useful information, I guess. But let's talk now about, like, I'm going to go a bit more back, to your younger days where you talked about your aunt being a motivation for you, and now it's a Women.Tech platform, and we would like to know more about how has a female role model, like, inspired you, like your aunt. How has she inspired your career? Yeah.
No, no, she was working as a staff only.
Mm-hmm.
So there she was going and helping the patient and helping them to, she will be explaining what they are going to do for them, like that. So that is the inspiration. And I used to see her friends also there
Okay.
while she was working. All most of the staffs are female only. I feel the staffs being female, they know more about the patient's pain, and they can, as a
Empathize, yeah.
with the help of parenthood, they'll be helping the patient. That may be that.
While you were pursuing, right, before you decided to do the transition, as you said, your professors had helped you to go from dermatology.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that particular career experience of being in dermatology field?
Yeah.
Or how did that help you with the? Did that help you also in your transition, like your
Um,
experience in
no,
that?
actually, dermatology practicing was there. Actually, after my dermatology uh, career, I was practicing and I was doing in the government also. I was running my dermatology OP with my superintendent's help. Actually, I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain findings you can see as a dermatologist, and you can doubt whether the patient is having malignancy. Malignancy means cancer. So that is also there. But after that, as I told you, I didn't select oncology.
Yeah.
By when there was a writing exam at that time. See, after 20 years, I hope you understand what will be the uh, person who were writing. I was competing with the younger students also now,
Mm.
immediately what they have done. So after 20 years writing an exam and getting equal with the youngsters, I feel it was a good achievement for me. And at that time, I got only oncology was there. When I gone for an interview, it was available. So actually, before that, I was having STD. That is, there was the post vacant there, but I didn't agree that. I came out. Then my friends and colleagues told, "It is why didn't you take that? Because being a dermatologist, you could have taken that so that you can go for research or anything with HIV patients, and then you will be a leader in that." But after that, actually, next day I gone and approached the selection committee where I couldn't get that seat. After that, I got only oncology. But
Okay.
as I told you, my professors, they encouraged me. It is a good field and it is very good to you. You can be a good doctor and like that. They encouraged me. So
Encouragement.
I started after starting the studies, I also becoming very interested in that, and I completed my radiation oncology.
Amazing. So now we will move more to your personal life too. Like you're a mom, so how was it? How challenging was it to be a mother as well as manage with your professional career?
Yeah,
Um,
it was a really it was a tough time because I was having my kid very small when I was doing my dermatology. She was only 2 years old, and she won't allow me to read when she is away. So we have to spend some time with her, and I will be able to read only after she sleeps. And the same thing in the oncology, when I was doing oncology also, she was older, but she was around teenage, somewhat 9, 10. So she will be very much depending on me. But luckily, I was having my mother also with me to help,
mhm,
so that I was able to manage both. But sometimes, really, if they fell sick
mhm.
and I will be uh, having some problem, suppose I get leave, I should get put the leave in the college or the hospital, and I have to look after my child. Like that, it was there. But it was really a tough time. But once they grown up, they will understand our problem, and they were amicable to them to us like that.
Very good. So, any advice that you would like to give, to working mothers in the medical profession, to how to manage with, their professional career. Um, any suggestions that you would like to give, yeah, from your experience?
Suggestions nowadays always now all the working doctors are working women. They used to have the elders in their home. It is ideal to have some senior people with you, like mother or father, somebody to help you or to look after the children when we were not in the house, when we were working for office or for the hospital. There must be some person to look after our children. And you cannot leave as I feel, you cannot leave the children with somebody else, to a third person, because we will not be able to concentrate in our work.
Hmm.
Suppose if it is our relation, anybody, not only mother or anything, some relation, then we will be happy to hand over our children to them, and we will be having satisfactory. That is, we believe they will look after, or something happens immediately they will let us know what happened to the child, like that.
Yes. Yeah. So what I understand is a supportive environment, and you know, is important, right?
See,
For
always in any field now, as a mom and the working, you have to you have to make a balance. Where what, even in medicine or any other field, a
Mhm.
working woman, if she become a mom, she has to balance. And I think nowadays the partner also helping them to look after and take care of the children. Everything is done, it's only a mutual help. So
Mhm.
that suppose if the child is sick, you can take leave from office, or if you cannot take leave, your partner can take leave, something like that. So it is a mutual adjustment you have to see. And always you can balance. I
Mhm.
feel you can balance, because at the time period only you will have some tough time. Once the children grown up, it will not be that. So you can concentrate more on your career at that time. So I feel only the balance and the understanding will help more.
Mhm. Very good advice for, probably working mothers and doctors who will be watching as viewers. You're pursuing an oncology field, and
Yeah.
you might have observed during your career, that some of your patients might not
Mm.
survive. So,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was the emotional toll for you as a doctor, and how did you overcome
Uh,
this?
Actually, na, as an oncologist and a cancer specialist, we were facing more deaths, to be frank, because as I told you, patients are coming on very late stage, and what are all the treatment whatever we are giving now, in spite of that, sometimes because of that nature of the cancer, the patient will be having progressive disease means the disease will be increasing. So
Mm-hmm.
at one scenario where we could not help patient, and we has to face the patient death. And at that time, telling the death or explaining to the family members will be very difficult. And
Yeah,
nowadays they are they are not ready to accept the death also sometimes.
yeah,
So it is that too if the patient is very young.
yes,
So if the patient is young, and when we see their small kids crying in and around that area, we feel very bad. But we can't do much now. That is the thing. Because of the disease and other things, we could not do much. But we feel very bad at that time. But as a junior, I was having more uh, like this, more about I feel very bad, and my feelings now I will not be able to control. Sometimes I used to think the death for 2 or 3 days also. I will not be able to do my regular work. But
mm-hmm.
as the time passes, we also we know whether the patient will be survive or not with the experience. So that before the hand itself we tell the attenders, so that at least mentally they will be prepared to accept that, like that. But sometimes sudden death occurs in spite of that, and at that time we feel somewhat bad, but we are empathetic and not much.
Yes. But you as a, you know, because you have a personal life also, so how do you manage to, not have this impact, emotional toll impact on your personal life? And is there any strategy that you apply as doctors, to because I'm sure that there are many doctors who might not want to go into a field where they are experiencing a lot of deaths on a regular basis. That might be their fear to pursue such a field. So if you could give them some strategies, that to give them a perspective. Okay, if you were in this field, you can do this. To not.
No, it's actually speaking, I think only the experience.
Okay.
See, as you experience more and more, facing more and more deaths, you know your limit of your treatment, where we have to stop our treatment. See, to be frank, treating a patient is more easy, but tell the patient not to treat. You don't need any treatment. That needs more experience.
Yeah.
So that as you experience as a junior, anybody will be having that problem and the tragedy and everything, and some people they will not be able to do the regular work also, like me when I was as a junior. But as I experienced more, I was facing more patients, more deaths and other things. I know my limit now. So it comes with the experience. It is nothing to do with that. But only thing you have to think, this is our profession. It is not our personal life. Your personal life is different.
Mm,
So it is better not to confuse or mingle personal and your professional. That's what I want to tell.
okay.
Because this is separate, that is separate. As a professional, you have to do your work maximum. How far we can help the patient, we can help or treat the patient like that. But don't mingle this experience with your personal life, otherwise, it will be a problem.
Now we are moving on from the sad part of seeing the emotional toll. I would like to ask you, your happiest moments in the field of radiation oncology. What were they? If you could.
Actually, we are having more occasions like that because women they are having, as you know, though you are not a medical professional, you know, breast cancer nowadays it's becoming so much, and some
Yes.
patients after treatment, when we see the patient after 10 years or 20 years, we will be feeling very happy,
Mm,
and that is our reward.
yeah.
Actually, we feel very happy. Yes, some like this I had so many patients also, and actually one of my patient having brain tumor, operated and treated. After that he got married and he got children also. So
Yes.
after some time when he sees us, ma'am, I'm having my children, these are my children, like that when he introduces, no, we feel very happy. Similarly, young patients always, no, we take more care to,
Amazing.
because they should have their family and other things. So we are having more care and what can be done for them, choosing even the drugs like that. So
Amazing.
we will feel very happy, and it is the very rewardable situation when we feel like that.
Medical field, it's more like a service that you're doing to humanity, right?
Yes.
Through your work and transforming people's life, right? And I'm very happy that through your experience, if a doctor sees, they would definitely consider this, that there are rewards also, not only the tragedies that you have to face. And hopefully, this inspires more women, to pursue the field of oncology. And in terms of, your, I know you're also a professor. You talked about being a professor. So how did that transition come? Like, from being in the field of oncology and now teaching students. Is
No,
it a natural transition or? Yeah.
no, no, it is a natural transition because after completing our profession as degree, once you got the degree, you
Mm-hmm.
will become a teacher if you are working in the government service.
Okay.
So you have to see the youngsters, those who are doing MD radiation oncology or any other field. So we have to teach them. And apart from that, we are having staff nurses training, staff nurses training, and paramedical workers, those who are working in as a technician,
Mm-hmm.
radiotherapy technician. We need to operate the machines.
Mm-hmm.
So our profession is more with machines.
Okay.
So it is there, and we will be feeling your biomedical people also,
Mm-hmm.
because they will be designing some machines, and they will be coming and getting permission whether we can do that, suggestions, something like that.
Uh,
So it is a natural transition of from student as a teacher.
okay. And what qualities do you think, are quite important in your field as a dermatologist, as an oncologist, and now a professor? What personal qualities do you think has helped you or is required for someone pursuing a career similar to yours?
See, only thing, your ambition,
Okay.
target. You have to be a doctor and you have to be a professor, and you should have some interest in teaching. I am interested in teaching,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to be a professor or as a teacher. Some people now, they like to work, but they will not like to be a teacher. Some reason that it is that person. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel teaching is a very good profession. As a teacher, you can guide students, whatever knowledge we are having, we can share with them. And nowadays, and another point, being a teacher, you have to get updated, because our profession, actually the oncology field, it is being enormously updated now. Newer things are coming in every year, new techniques are
Knowledge.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get updated also. So we get mutual. So we
So,
have to update ourselves. At the same time, we have to teach or share our knowledge to the students. So I like, as a professor, as a teacher, I like teaching.
great to know. I'm sure that there'll be many students who would want you as a professor with your extended years of experience in the medical field. And definitely, it's a way of giving back and also making more doctors similar to you, in the future. So, what was in your entire career span of 50 years? What was one achievement in your career? You have many achievements. What was one achievement that you would say that even now that you're very proud of?
Uh, as a director in Kanchipuram, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to modify some office work and other things. I was able to get permission for the hostel for the students, something. So I think it's a achievement for me, because in the government, getting that approval is very difficult with the people. So that is the achievement, and I feel I didn't achieve much.
No, I mean, you would be like you're being very humble, but for aspiring doctors, I'm telling you that your career experience would be, a huge achievement in itself. And I would like to know more about, like, your experience as the director. So it was a director of radiation oncology in Arinyar
Arinaram.
Anna Cancer Institute and Regional Cancer Center, right?
Yeah.
So, what was your role, and more about your role, and just to for medical professionals, to understand how they could transition also like this in this role. What was your role, and what was your job like in this?
See, actually, it is the administration life,
Mm-hmm.
mainly administration. Suppose if you are a doctor or head of the department, it is enough if you see the patient's care and treatment, only that. But when you become a director or some administrative work, then it is a pure administration, to
Mm-hmm.
get the tenders and other things, and suppose managing the attendance of the workers. That is also very important, and conducting camps, so many things as a administration. And hospital administration is very good, very important when talking about PWD people, engineering people, where some repair has to be done, or some machines, or like that, theaters, they have to be ready, make ready, everything. So it is a pure administration. It is nothing to do with your medical field.
Okay.
But combined together, you have to be a doctor as a professor, and at the same time you have to be an administrator, like that.
So, would you be able to still pursue your as a medical professional, or it will be only you'll be able, because you will be having a lot of administrative tasks. So, I'm not. I would like to know if you had some time to also attend to patients in this role.
No, actually, when we are a director,
Mm-hmm.
we will be managing the head of the departments, and we will be correcting that whatever they request.
Okay.
Suppose they want, I want this machine, something. Some
Mm-hmm.
request they will be conducting, or I want this medicine, so that it is purely administrative work. It may not be, I will not be a teacher at that time,
Okay.
only the administration. So that anything happens, I have to inform to my higher authorities, get the permission for that, something like that. It's a pure administration. Suppose if I am a head of the department alone, then it is different. I have to see the my juniors how they are doing their work, what is the procedure, and if they need any help of me, I have to help as a professor, something like that. It is purely medical. But when you become a director, it's only purely administration.
Okay, okay. And now you're working as a consultant,
Yeah.
in oncology. So how has this been a transition, and why did you pursue your current transition as a consultant?
See, in private, when you are working, you will be as consultant only, either as a junior consultant or a senior consultant. So now I'm working as a senior consultant, where as soon as we receive the patient and see the stage and other things, we will be explaining the family members
Okay.
what will be the course of the disease, what will be the options for them to get treated and get their permission to treat, concern,
Mm-hmm.
everything, and which is best for the patient, we have to tell. See, as a consultant, this is the important work apart from the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So it is there.
Very interesting. So, so now I'd like to actually move to, you have shared about from your childhood, your interest to pursue your MBBS to going into dermatology to now then going into oncology, then becoming a professor, director, now consultant. It's been quite an impressive journey. So I'd like to know if there are there any moments of self doubt where you asked yourself, can I do this? Is this because as women sometimes we feel when you're going to another role, which is probably something we have not done before. You have also done a lot of transitions like this, right? So we ask ourselves, is this, can I do this? Do you think I don't think I should take that role because I think it is too difficult for me. So
No,
did you
no.
have these kind of self doubt? If not, why and how did you, uh, you know, uh, motivate yourself?
See, actually, now most of the doctors they won't like administrative work. So when I was working in Kanjipuram as a head of the department, my director get retired. So that I was actually as a routine. I was posted as a director. So at that time, I was thinking myself whether I can do justification for that post because
Mm-hmm.
it is purely administration, as I told you.
Yeah.
And I don't know myself at that time how far I am good in administration. But as I have, I took it as a challenge so that I have to do this as a good administrator, and that we are having our PAs to help in all aspects. We were having PAs also in as a director.
Personal
So,
assistance. Yeah.
personal assistant. So they will be coming and they will be helping, ma'am, this is today's work, this is today's work, like that. Suppose tender have come, you have to open that in front of others, something like that. So many things. They will make us to work. Today is this work, ma'am, today is that work, ma'am, like that. So every month, every week, we will be going at the hospital rounds and everything. And then we will see how the patients also comfortable, what is going on as a hospital work, like that. So I took it a challenge and I worked for 1 year as a director. After that, I got retired from my government service.
Okay. What has helped you keep this passion for medicine in all these years? Like it's a long 50 years is a long career journey, and what is something that you think has helped you to keep this passion? Yeah.
No, no, it's only my ambition. As I told you, I
Mm,
want to be a doctor.
mm,
Actually, a doctor who is empathetic so that you can understand the other's feelings,
mm,
mainly the patient's tendency and feelings, everything, so that you can adjust yourself and treat the patient.
mhm,
See, every time it is not possible, but to some extent, convincing the patient for some procedures. Some patients now they will be very much afraid to undergo some procedures. So at that time, we are there to convince them as a thing. Whatever opinion you are getting from other department, they will be considering you only as a doctor.
mm.
So you have to convince them. Otherwise, what they will tell now, my doctor didn't tell this, so I won't do. So
Okay.
that is that. So to get the position as my doctor is very difficult. Getting a degree and becoming a doctor is easy, but to be a doctor is very difficult. That is my opinion. So I want to be a doctor,
Yeah.
not only with degree,
Yes.
so that even now, if my patients are seeing me, they will say my doctor. So that is very, as I told you, it is very excitable position when
Yes.
they are commenting you as my doctor. It is that.
Yes. So I would like to now. I think we're coming to the end of the session,
Yeah.
and I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your journey. But before we end, any message that you have for all the viewers, who are probably looking at this video, any message that you have for young women who want to pursue the field of oncology?
See, for any field in
Mm-hmm.
especially oncology or medicine, you should be very patient. That is very important because even in my career, when I was completing my MBBS, I will not be so patient with the patient. I will get irritated when they took more time, like that. But after that, I was working with Dr. Kaushalya in Gandhigram.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know, it is the rural university where it is the
Okay.
hospital. And she was very patient with the patient. So after seeing her, I modify or I change myself. When ma'am has do like this, when ma'am can be with patients, why can't me? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, actually, she was my mentor to become my patient. So that everybody will have some mentor like me, so that they can proceed in their career. One thing, and consistency should be there, consistency to continue
Mm-hmm.
as a professor in this profession. It is always there.
Okay.
Not working for working sake. We
Mm.
should feel we are helping some person. Only that, to make a long experience and be a good teacher or being a good human being, like that.
Thank you so much, Dr. S.V.S. Bala. I think so many things for us to learn. Your love for patients, your qualities, your ambition, is really shown in this interview. And the medical field is, I guess, very grateful, that you to have you as a professional, and for your contribution to the field. And thanks a lot. And I think I'll end the interview here. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.